We live in a world that is full of challenges, pain, and many unanswered questions. We go through life as Christians or believers, um, having lots of issues and many unanswered questions. A believer and an unbeliever will be in the same workplace, and the believers will not be receiving the promotion and the favors that the unbelievers are receiving. You see that someone that is an unbeliever and does not even believe in God will be favored, will be rising up the ranks, and the believer will be left staying where they are. You realize that an unbeliever and a believer will go to the hospital, probably even see the same provider, present with the same symptoms and signs, and then the unbeliever will be given a mild diagnosis, whereas the believer will be given a more complicated diagnosis with even poor prognosis. And it brings lots of questions in our minds. Sometimes it could even be in a vehicle. There is an accident, and then you realize that the one that survived was the unbeliever, and then the believer that probably prayed before even the journey started, will be declared dead. And all these are real life events that happen in our day-to-day activities, and it raises a lot of questions to us as Christians. We ask whether this faith that we are believing in at all is valid. We ask the question whether God is a loving God like the Bible teaches us. We even ask ourselves, go to the extent of asking if God really exists. And these are some of the points that people get to, and then they get to a state of apostasy, deny the faith, and they are out of faith. But I just want us to go through a journey, and we will be looking at the characters of Job and Jesus. But even before we go through that in our next episode, I want to establish 3 principles here with regards to these issues. And the first principle that I want to mention is that God is a sovereign God. So God is God all by himself. He knows the beginning, he knows the end. The Bible says that he's an omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent God. There is nothing that goes by without God knowing. And so God, whether we respond to the issues and challenges of life that happen to us negatively or positively, it does not affect his nature as God. He's God all by himself. Sometimes we give God ultimatums. Lord, I want you to do this for me, then I will know you are God. He can decide to do it, he can decide not to do it. And that does not make him a little God or even a bigger God. He is God all by himself, all powerful God, all knowing God, omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent God. So God is sovereign and he's God all by himself. The second thing that I want us to establish is that we will not have answers to all the questions of life. We will not have answers to all the questions of life because we are not omniscient. Definitely there will be questions of life that we will not have answers to. Even when you come to the medical parlance, there are lots of diseases that we don't have answers to. They call idiopathic conditions, right? So it just happens that you have it and we don't know where it came from. Even lots of medications that we use in treating diseases, we don't really understand its mechanisms of action. There will always be a why without an answer. There will always be something that happens to you in life. You will think about it, you will question God about it, but you will not have an answer to it. And that is life. We are not God. We don't have all the answers to the questions of life. And the third truth that I want to establish is that Christianity does not promise immunity against the challenges and the severities of life. It doesn't. So many times people think becoming a Christian will make your journey 100% joyous. No, there will be valleys, there will be lows. But what Christianity actually promises is the presence of God and the strength of God as we go through the lows of life, as we go through the negatives of life, as we go through the struggles of life. The difference between the believer and the unbeliever is that the believer has the backing of God, the strength of God, the grace of God to see us through as we journey through the valleys of the shadows of death. So David puts it this way, that yea, though I walk through the valleys of the shadows of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. The presence of the Lord is guaranteed on this journey. So Paul also said that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So, we will not have all the answers to the questions of life. God is a sovereign God, and Christianity does not promise immunity, but the presence of God as we go through the laws of life. So, thank you very much for joining us today. And as we go through this journey in our next episode, we'll be looking at the book of Job, and we will be looking at Jesus Christ in the subsequent journey. Thank you very much once again. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Take it easy. And I'll see you again next time.